That's perfect.
My name is Elijah Stokes. I am from Chicago, Illinois, Inglewood, so South Side. Just got married. I'm out here, doing it right. Also, I'm a police officer training now, so I'm out here protecting these people in the streets. We didn't really live in such a cool area. Growing up, my mother, my father, it was just me. I'm the oldest of four. I didn't have the best school system. It wasn't like we had the best environment, but I did have a really good support system. My parents weren't perfect, but they pushed me to be the best. They always tried to put me in good schooling systems. I did private Christian school. And I was always just calm, soft-spoken kid. I didn't talk a lot at a young age until I got older and realized that I had a voice. And my family, we didn't really go to church, just only on Christmas, Easter, just basic holidays. I had a basic establishment with Jesus and with God, but my understanding was just be a good person so you don't go to hell. That's the only way I understood it as a kid. Growing up, I don't think I really understood the concept of a relationship with Jesus. I knew that he was important, but I didn't understand how important he was. So I knew, okay, he came, he died for my sins, he did his part, that's what he's supposed to do. My part, be a good person. I didn't really start moving forward in my relationship with God until I moved to Tennessee and my father got into a cult. They call themselves like Hebrew Israelites and black people who believe they're Israelites. And he started to challenge me with using the Bible. Started to challenge me with things I never heard of or never read in the Bible, and it made me question myself. Like, man, do I know what I believe in? He would watch videos, and he'd come to me and say, "Well, Jesus is black, right?" And I would say, "Word? Like, oh man, okay. Well, it's kind of hot over in Israel and Africa and stuff like that. So maybe he could be black." And he'd come to me and be like, "Did you know the Israelites, the real Israelites, are black?" And I'm like, "Word? We the real Israelites?" I'm like, "Well, I don't know. I thought they were like olive skinned and stuff like that." And he was like, No. Like, it says it in the Bible. We go to church and my dad stops and he stays in the car and says, "I'm not going to church anymore. This is not what I believe in." And my mom, this is the first time hearing it. And my dad was like, "This is what I believe in." And he's like, "I believe that black people are the real Israelites." At first, I wasn't fully against it until he started saying stuff like white people can't receive salvation. And they started using God to try to justify prejudice or racism in itself. And I'm like, wait a minute, if we don't like when white people treat us this way, why do we want the same thing to happen to them? Like they say, you're gonna be our slaves in heaven and this and that. And I'm like, wait, why do we look forward to owning slaves? Well, wait a minute, like, this is not how you raised me. They're just so obsessed with identity. So obsessed saying, like, when I found out I was an Israelite, I felt like I won the lottery. And I'm just like, you're so concerned about the wrong thing. And they're so concerned about keeping the commandments, saying you have to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Jesus said, "I come here to fulfill the law, not to get rid of the law." But they don't understand. They think that when Jesus says that, it means to keep the old law. But it specifically talks about how the old law, could not be kept. If it was easy enough for us to keep it, then Jesus would have never had to come in the first place. But he fulfilled the law so they'll be written on our hearts. My mother and father just could not make it work. Just lots of complications. And I think I was so hurt by how my family fell apart just from a cult that I started to dedicate myself to researching about these guys and knowing about them and knowing how to debate with them, knowing how to have dialogue with them overall, just understanding their cult inside and out from a Christian's perspective, because they love to challenge Christians and they love to try it. They hate the Christian church. And these guys, they chop Christians down because they know the Old Testament well, and Christians don't look at the Old Testament like that. So it opened my mind to the Old Testament, the God of the Old Testament. It started off as me trying to, out of frustration and just disbelief of how my dad reacted, learning how to combat his religion. But through that, I started to find a strong relationship with God more. It hurts. It hurt when I called him and told him I proposed to him. Not to him, but to my wife, my fiance. And he told me, well, that's your thing and that's your belief. And God, God doesn't approve of that. And it really hurt. And it hurt me so bad that here I am telling my dad that I'm in love and I want to get married and I'm growing up and I'm a man now and he just doesn't care. And I feel like he cares, but I don't know. I think he cares, but I think my dad's just lost and it hurts. I wouldn't say I had a rock bottom low like some people, but it did affect how I saw myself. It affected how it just affected what kind of man I wanted to be, because I want to be like my dad, but also I want to be different from my dad. After I proposed, I realized, man, I need to start living the way God wants me to live. I need to start thinking differently. I need to start understanding God better and having a better relationship with God and trusting him more and understanding that the most I can do for my dad is pray for him, but attacking him with the Bible is not gonna open his eyes. It's more than just being a good person. And like when I was a kid, just being a good person and, say I'm sorry and Jesus saved us, but understanding that the only way to God is through Jesus Christ and understanding how important Jesus Christ is and the true sacrifice that he made for us. It's not a game, it's not a joke. Jesus Christ was real and he is real and still eternal and living. And before we make any moves in this life, we need to understand where our foundation is. I mean, that's what my relationship was with God. That's how it's come to be. And I still have a lot to learn. But I know that the Lord has his hands on me, and I know that if I keep trying to be the best man that I can be and turn to him, even when I fall short, he's always going to pick me up and point me to the right direction. I really pray for him, and I just hope that he truly finds Christ and that he understands I still love him. Right now, I'm just trying to get past hurting myself.
Are you at all concerned to go into law enforcement in this day and age?
Why would you ask me that? The older I got, the more I realized I enjoy people. I enjoy working with people. I enjoy interacting with people, and just being behind a desk or working from behind the scenes was just not my thing. I never thought I'd be a police officer. I never thought that's what I would go into. And I just prayed and asked God, if you feel that this is for me, then use me as a tool to bring your glory to the world and shed a light on your name. When I first started thinking about it, my wife was, at the time she was my fiance, she was supportive. My mom, my brother, all my family, one of my best friends, they were not down with it. They were just like, oh my goodness, they're killing black people. You can't do that. You're black, you can't be a police officer. And I said, the police departments are losing police officers at an extreme rate. And this is a good opportunity for a new generation of officers to come in. A freer thinking generation, a generation who is more Christ-centered. This is an opportunity. How are we gonna ever make a difference if we just sit back and not do anything about it? Where I come from, police officers didn't look like me. They didn't look like me, and at the end of the day, it's all about the heart. But sometimes it is nice to have somebody who's from that community or who understands that community to protect that community and have a better connection with that community because of the same background or similar background. I really hope that through this job, I can at least point people towards the direction of Christ, even if I don't just miraculously turn them to God. If I can just plant that seed, and if it gets watered properly enough, it can sprout into something and just open their eyes. Because sometimes people have to figure it out for themselves. I can't just force them to turn to God. I don't plan on being a pastor or anything like that, but I would like to serve the community and serve it with the light of God behind me. So God made us because he loves us, and we're in his image. That's how we understand the concept of love. And what Jesus did for us, what God has sent Jesus to do for us, is truly amazing. That's a true act of love, because I can't see myself doing what God did. You guys are out of luck if I was God, but just truly understanding that we're always loved, even when we don't feel like we are being loved. We're always loved, and that a relationship with Christ is the most important thing that you can pursue. It is the only way to get to God. You can know who He is, but that's the only way you can ever get close to God. And it's absolutely necessary. So just keep God first and always pursue Jesus, and be the best you can be to bring glory to God's name.